Hello, everyone. Welcome to Politics 101, your go-to channel for unpacking the world of politics, the ideas of power, governance, and everything in between. I'm Billy Agwanda, and I'm thrilled to have you here as we explore the fascinating ideas that shape our societies, past, present, and future. If you're curious about how power influences our everyday lives, subscribe and hit the notification bell. The concept of politics has evolved significantly through time, shaped by the perspectives of classical, modern, and postmodern scholars. Politics has been a subject of fascination and debate for millennia. Aristotle, a classical philosopher, called it the art of governance, aimed at achieving the common good in a harmonious community. Aristotle viewed politics as the highest form of practical science, essential for achieving the common good and fostering virtuous living within a community. He believed that humans are inherently social and political beings, best able to fulfill their potential within a just society governed by reason and law. Politics, in Aristotle's view, is about organizing the polis, or what he referred to the city-state, to promote moral and intellectual virtue among its citizens. He emphasized the importance of justice, which he saw as giving each their due, and regarded political participation as a means of cultivating the character and well-being of both individuals and the community. For Aristotle, a balanced and mixed government, incorporating elements of monarchy, aristocracy, and democracy, was the ideal system to achieve stability and the flourishing of all. Aristotle's views raise interesting questions about politics. For example, can politics address all aspects of human flourishing, or are there elements of virtue that lie beyond political influence? What happens when the pursuit of virtue clashes with pragmatic political decisions? Or is the idea of politics as a means to achieve virtue applicable across all cultures and historical contexts, or is it specific to certain societies? Reflect on these and other questions that touch on this classical approach to politics. Moving into the modern period. Thinkers like Thomas Hobbes and John Locke expanded the conceptual boundaries of politics by situating it within the framework of the social contract. Hobbes viewed politics as a mechanism to avoid the anarchy of the state of nature, emphasizing the necessity of a sovereign authority to ensure order and security. John Locke's view of politics is foundational to liberal thought and revolves around the principles of natural rights, the social contract, and limited government. He captures his ideas primarily in his seminal work, Two Treatises of Government, published in 1689. First, Locke considered politics as the protection of natural rights, and he argued that individuals are born with inherent natural rights, including life, liberty, and property. Importantly, these rights are not granted by governments, but are intrinsic to human existence. Politics, in Locke's view, is therefore the art of safeguarding these natural rights. And this is what forms the basis of legitimacy of a government. But for politics to exist, there has to be a social contract. Locke argued that in the state of nature, humans live in freedom and equality, but are vulnerable to insecurity and conflicts over resources. To remedy this, individuals consent to form a political society, agreeing to transfer some of their freedoms to a governing body in exchange for protection of their natural rights. However, this is a very important distinction from Hobbes, who emphasized absolute sovereignty. Locke argued for a government limited in power, with its authority derived solely from the consent of the governed. What this meant is that Locke envisioned that the practice of politics be confined within the rule of law and limited government. Thus, he championed the idea that political power should be constrained by the rule of law, ensuring that government does not have arbitrary power but must operate within a framework of laws designed to serve the public good. We therefore see Locke strongly advocating for opposition to absolute monarchy, and championing constitutional government with clear separation of powers between legislative, executive, and judicial arms of government to prevent tyranny and abuse of power. Last but not least, a common theme that appears on Locke's view of politics is that he considers property as central to politics because he considers property as a natural extension of an individual's labor. The protection of property was, therefore, the primary reason for establishing political societies, and any government that infringed on property rights without consent violated the social contract. Karl Marx viewed politics as a reflection of economic relations and class struggle, rooted in his critique of capitalism and historical materialism. He argued that politics is shaped by the conflict between the ruling class, bourgeoisie, and the working class, proletariat, with the state serving as an instrument of the ruling class to maintain dominance and protect private property. Marx believed that the economic base, or what he referred to as historical materialism. Consisting of the means and relations of production, determines the political and ideological superstructure, including laws, politics, and culture. Political systems therefore evolve as economic contradictions, such as exploitation and inequality, drive social change. He advocated for revolutionary action by the working class to overthrow the capitalist system, establish a transitional dictatorship of the proletariat, and ultimately create a classless, stateless society where governance is based on collective decision-making and equality. For Marx, politics was inseparable from the quest for social and economic justice through transformative change. Michel Foucault viewed politics as intricately tied to power, which he saw as pervasive and embedded in all social relations rather than concentrated solely in state institutions. For Foucault, power operates through discourse, knowledge, and practices that shape how individuals understand themselves and the world. Politics, in this sense, is about the production and regulation of truth and the ways in which power constructs norms, controls behavior, and creates hierarchies. He challenged traditional state-centric views of politics, emphasizing how power flows through decentralized networks involving institutions, social norms, and everyday interactions. Foucault also highlighted the role of resistance in politics, arguing that where there is power, there is also the potential for opposition and transformation. Politics, for Foucault, extends beyond formal governance to include the subtle and often hidden mechanisms of influence that permeate all aspects of life. Today, politics is understood as the dynamic negotiation of power, governance, and values. From the classical pursuit of virtue to modern social contracts and postmodern critiques of power, politics remains central to shaping our collective futures. Let me take this opportunity to thank you for joining me on this brief exploration of politics, a subject that touches every aspect of our lives, from the choices we make as individuals to the systems that govern our societies. As we conclude, remember that politics is not just about leaders and laws, it's about how we engage with one another to shape the world we live in. Whether it's through debates, protests, or collaboration, our collective actions define the future. Don't forget to stay curious, stay informed, and stay involved.